Welcome back to The Inspired Entrepreneur with Heather Hope. Hey guys, welcome back. This is Heather Hope with the Inspired Entrepreneur podcast. Okay, so let's dive into it. This week we've had some longer podcast episodes, so let's kind of tighten it up a little bit, as people say. So if you're new here, welcome. My name is Heather Hope. I'm a law of attraction business coach, mentor, teacher, inspirational writer, and speaker. And if you are listening to this every day, thank you so much for all the comments, all the love. I really appreciate the feedback. And so thank you. So the Inspired Entrepreneur, if I can talk today, I hope so. The Inspired Entrepreneur is a book that I've been writing, and it's 366 days of inspiration for entrepreneurs. And so it's almost done. All the days have been written. I'm just putting together the beginning of the book and sending it over to someone to put it together. So it will be available on Amazon next month, and then it'll be published with another publisher a little bit later on. So you can get your hands on it, get it on your desk. It's going to be beautiful. And so let's jump into this. What day are we on? let me pull it up on my computer. September. What day is today, guys? September 25th. Friday. Happy Friday. That's something that my husband has been saying to me for years. For a few years. Before we started dating, he would send me a message saying Happy Friday. So it seems like for me in my life that it's always Friday. It seems like that's the day that I realize that another week has passed when it's Friday. Like, gosh, wasn't it Friday already? It's like that happens to me all the time. Okay, so each day, this is a daily podcast, so based off of the book. So September 25th, let's read it. The universe is not testing you. It is simply responding to you. Okay, this is a really good one to dig into for a little bit. My dog is literally laying at the door because my husband was trying to get him to either stay or go, and he was just being so little defiant little Yorkie. And so he stayed, but his back is up against the door, like, I'm not really liking this. Okay, so there's this fallacy out there, and I used to carry this with me too, of the universe is testing me, or God is testing me. Back when I was a Christian, I was only a Christian for a few years. It was helpful, but so I believed in this. So I think most people believe that they're being tested. So yeah, but when you dig into how the universe really is, we're vibrational. So you attract based off of your vibration, and there would be no testing. There's no assertion. It's only attraction. So if it's only attraction, then there's no testing. There's nothing's being tested. You're not being tested. Now, contrast is what people are talking about. When you fall into some contrast or have contrast come to you or be in your life, then it feels like you're being tested, right? Or it feels like, well, it seems like this never seems to work. So, or this path was so rocky that it just seemed like it was just one big test or whatever. And I've dug into this subject a lot with Abraham, and it's really about, there would be, like, when people say there's a lot of red flags, Abraham Hicks says those red flags don't have to be there. So it's interesting. There's some good recordings out there when Abraham talks about red flags, especially like for somebody who's buying a house or something where there's a lot of things involved in it, and it seems like it's a rocky path. And Abraham says it doesn't have to be rocky. It's just like kind of that mixed vibration or that split energy that makes things rocky or makes things look like there's a red flag when there doesn't have to be, if that makes sense. Let me know if this is resonating with you. But plain and simple. This is a vibrational universe. You are a vibrational being. So whatever vibration you are emitting is what you are attracting to you. So if you're in a particular mood, having a particular emotion, then that's your point of attraction. So then you may experience some contrast or may experience a manifestation that you don't like, but just completely based on what you're thinking about, or, that you're having momentum with, right? Having the momentum of thought and vibration, and then you start attracting something that you don't want. So you're not being tested. All you have to do is be like, okay, I don't like that. So I'm going to go meditate for 20 minutes and I'm going to clear my mind and I'm going to feel better. And then my point of attraction can be so much better. That's it. That's literally it. So if you're attracting things that you don't want to attract, change your vibration, change your emotion, change the things that you're thinking about and that you're talking about. If you want to change your life, change those things. Change the things that you think about, change the things that you think about. Did I just say that? Change the things you think about, change the things that you talk about, change the things that you feel about. Like, you don't have to feel a certain way about everything. You know what I mean? Like, you can choose not to feel a certain way all the time when something happens. So change the way you think, feel, talk, and you will start changing the things that you manifest, changing the things that you're attracting. So, for example, when I was single, the last time I was single, I just got a divorce from my first husband, and I started dating, and I was just attracting not the greatest quality men. Let's say that. But there was a period of time that I was attracting married men. There was a distinct period of time. And I remember walking around like the grocery store or whatever, and I saw this pattern forming of married men. And so my thinking at that time, this is before I knew about Abraham, my thinking at that time was, I kept saying this particular statement. I kept saying, God, I keep attracting married men. I keep attracting married men. And I would tell everybody that, right? Gosh, I keep attracting married men. What happens when you say something like that? You attract married men. Like, it's like you only have to do it once or twice, like especially on that second one, right? Well, I was actually dating off Tinder, and it seemed like every guy that I met or at the bar or wherever I was at that time, everybody at that time was married and lied about it. So, and then I'd find out like really quickly, like by the time that person left and was heading home, I'd find out that person was married. Like, it was so fast. But luckily I found out very quickly on all these men. But it was like one after another were married and totally told me some lie about they're divorced. Or I had one man tell me that his wife died. And that's the one I didn't find out until a few weeks later. She messaged me and it's like, do you know my husband? And I'm like, I met him once, right? And I went out with him once and I never saw him again. And I'm like, yeah, she only found me on Facebook because he liked one of my posts or something. We weren't even friends. And she asked me about him. And I told her, because I didn't know who she was. I'm like, yeah, we went out once. And she's like, I'm his wife. I'm like, oh my God, like, he told me you were dead. Like, what? So it was like such a crazy time of dating, because I was in this majorly active vibration of, I was attracting married men and they were all lying about their wives, and I kept finding out about them. So I was in like this web of dating married men or attracting married men. And it's hard to break when you're in it, right? And you don't realize what you're doing, because most people don't know what they're doing, right? I didn't know at this time that it was this whole active vibration. I kept reaffirming it every time I said it, every time I thought it, every time, it was just this thing. And had nothing to do with being tested or anything like that. It was just, I kept repeating the same thought over and over, and I kept getting the same result over and over. And it was just this cycle I was in. And so eventually I stopped dating for a short while. I stopped dating because I was like, I am attracting like the worst men. So I had to stop. And that's when I like learned to love myself. And this is like a whole nother episode of how I attracted my husband. But I had to stop everything because I felt like this was a big mess that I just kept attracting. And I'm like, this was like worse. It was practically worse than leaving my husband. It was like, what? How can I attract even worse men than my ex-husband? But, my ex-husband wasn't the worst person in the world. He wasn't. So I'm like, what? It was insane. So I stopped dating for like 2 months. Somewhere in like 2 months or so. And I just started loving myself and like really being strong and like not dating and changing my phone number and just totally turning my back to everyone. Buying myself flowers, dating myself, taking myself out to dinner, loving myself, not needing a man, and being really happy being single. And guess what happened? This is a whole nother episode that I have to record about how I attracted my husband. But when I stopped dating and stopped communicating with everybody and started loving myself, dating myself, taking really good care of myself, and I got to the point where I loved being single. I loved it. I finally, for once, because I've been in relationships, long-term relationships my whole life. My first boyfriend was 14 years. My ex-husband was 6. So that's 20 years right there. And so I loved being single. And then guess what happened? I got this impulse to text my good guy friend, my friend-zoned guy friend. Here's an extra tip. If you want to find a really good guy, check out your friend-zoned guys. See if there's any good ones there, because that's where my guy was. He was friend-zoned years prior. We were friends for like 8 years or so. And it just really trustworthy, really solid guy. So I text messaged him because we texted every so often. And I'm like, hey, I want to come see you. Just had this thought to go see him because it had been like a year and a half since I've seen him, since we lived kind of an hour away from each other. And just an impulse. It was like Friday night impulse. And the next day I went and saw him. He took me out to dinner, and the rest is history. That night I knew I was going to fall in love with him. Knew it. And I did. I knew it. It was just this weird, different feeling. I never felt it ever in my life with another guy. So, as I go on that tangent, but universe is not testing you. It's purely vibrational, and that is so good. That is such good news, right? It's just vibration, and you can change your vibration. I like just cutting everything out of that area that's really bothering me, especially if it's just such a vibration that's kind of hard to get out of or get off that subject or whatever. It's like I need to get off that subject completely and go focus on other subjects. And that's what Abraham tells us to do. What you don't put your attention on will go away, and that's fact right there. Okay, guys, so I'm gonna leave that for today. Let me know in the comment section if love. I used to be a love coach for a while because I really love talking about love and attraction and dating and stuff like that. But let me know if in the comment section if that's something that you also would like to manifest, because it's a subject that I really love talking about. I don't do it very often because I'm like solid in this business stuff and working with all my clients. And in the Soul Aligned Business Academy, where I help my entrepreneurs, my business owners, my self-employed, amazing people, help them with all of this law of attraction in business. The link is down below if you want to check out the details, join us in this group. And my vision for this academy is to grow it to a point where this is a really amazing space to come and talk about this stuff, because this subject is not for everybody, right? I can't really talk to everybody about this subject because they will think I'm crazy, right? So this is a place where we all can gather, in addition to, the calls and the training that I put out every month, helping everybody really understand this stuff, how to implement it, how to get into a better feeling place, giving that support and guidance. So check out the link and join us. So have an amazing rest of your Friday, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.